Let me pull up. Here we go. I want to watch the benchmark trailer with all of you, and I want to point out the shit that like is super important to me, and I think.
Do you think you can pull up a screen share on Discord since that has less lag on it?
How about no? Yeah, I can do that. You're such a fucking needy little bitch.
Well, I'm sorry. You're the one that said you liked that.
Oh, Miles, I'm so happy to be hanging out with you. But like, no, seriously, like Miles, I would love to get a static together, to fuck around and find out, on or off stream. But I'm also putting that out into the ether of like, hey, mutuals, let me be your raid lead. Trust me, it'll be fun.
It totally will be fun, and I will totally not be the Dark Knight that kills you. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
By the way, I don't think you have it up on stream.
Yeah. It had a little minor hiccup, but we got it. All right, we'll have the volume a little bit down on this one.
If they add world travel, we game. Yes!
Oh, wait a second. Capture audio. Thank you, Opera, you ho. There we go. Like, one of the things that I like about this outfit is that clearly the hood is a hat. And, like, I'm just gonna say it. We need more hoods. We need more hoods in the game that are just, like, separate pieces of equipment.
Slowly cries and Bunny can't wear.
If they add world travel, they said they're going to. They said that they're gonna add data center or whole like region travel, so we should have that.
They mainly said that was going to be for the beginning, though, for server clutter.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it's not guaranteed they're gonna keep it after the first like couple weeks.
Yeah. So like right immediately, one of the things that's kind of interesting to note is that like some of like the distant in motion blur going on. I'm someone who cares very little about like motion blur and like stuff like that. I'm not a fan of it. It just kind of looks iffy to me, but I know they're going to make it a thing. So like right here where you can kind of see like this looks kind of like fuzzy. That I wonder how many people fell into this mindset that looks bad when it's like, oh man, it's like the graphics are sucks. Like, no, that's just a setting. Like the benchmark that they show is like everything on max. And if you don't like blur and like distance shit, like this doesn't look good. But if you know what you're looking at, it's like, oh no, I see the intent. I don't care for it.
That definitely was me too. It's just like motion blur is nice and all, but
not to mention too is that of course there's something to be said about YouTube compression.
Oh boy, YouTube compression.
One of the things that is kind of neat to see actually, now that I'm like watching it, how they're showing like so many animals, like you don't notice it at first. But, like, when you really pay attention, we did not see this many, like, of individual creatures popping up. Like, that is actually kind of nice.
Is the thing. We couldn't.
I know. It's really nice to see it, is what I'm saying. It's just, like, it's such an improvement.
That's gonna make, like, it's such a little thing, but it's gonna make the worlds feel so much more lived in.
So I'm gonna be doing a lot of pausing here now, because this is where we're getting into the good shit.
The good shit.
One, I like that these rhinos are mounts. I want one, like, that's very much my aesthetic, big and bulky. Okay, first off, we got Gunbreaker. That little, like, that little stab explosion, that looks kind of sick.
I'm so excited for that, because I'm also curious, like, what exactly it does, because that looks a lot like it's going to be an upgrade for its I can't remember its name right now, but it's the AoE lightning
Oh,
where it
yeah,
puts the
yeah, yeah,
debuff on them.
yeah.
But
No,
instead he's blowing up the fucking ground.
no, see, I like that because the AoE with Gunbreaker is rather iffy. I find it's not great. Also, you guys are gonna notice that like you're not gonna see me change emotions a lot like I normally do because like switching between the two screens. Sorry. Um, but yeah, like I'm curious if this is the AoE. If it's not, I'm also curious if it's like an off global, like extra bit of damage you can do. Like you know the ability that's like you raise the gunblade up and you slam it down. There's like a little explosion. I'm also
Yes.
curious if it might be that, but I think you're on to something because just before we see the little rotation, like the
Yeah,
explosion
faded
rotation,
circle.
yeah, and then it follows up with that. So if that's what that is, I'm still down because the Gunbreaker AoE rotation is kind of janky. I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, you know what would also be awesome? I doubt it, right? I really doubt it. But AoE continuation combo.
Ah, now hold on. That would actually open up some fun. That could be
Like he
neat.
starts out with faded circle to earn continuation, and then he just starts going off.
I would kind of fuck with that actually. That'd be very fun.
That one's a long shot, but that would be
Yeah.
sick.
And then here, okay, I am I'm not a Dragoon main. I don't even really like Dragoon all that much, but I definitely felt the pain when everyone heard that Dragoon was being reworked. And like it's a necessary evil because the current stage of Dragoon, there's not really anywhere you can go. Also, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dote. I will have my alerts going on in the future. But thank you, Big, for the follow. Um, so what with what's going on with Dragoon right now, my heart is out for people who are like, no, but I like Dragoon where it is. But you also have to accept that it has to be reworked because it doesn't have anywhere else to go. So when they busted out Nidhogg, look at this.
So I was sitting there and I was looking at that, and at first I thought, wait, did they give, like, my brain went to, did they let Dragoons just start pulling up the corrupted enemies? Because I thought that was the claw of the boss from, oh, what, the dungeon where everything's on fire. Like, I thought that motherfucker just pops his hand out from there, but then after pausing it and looking at it, I'm like, oh, no, that's just straight up Nidhogg saying, hey guys, how's it going? Fuck you.
Yeah, but like it makes so much sense, and like here's the thing. Again, I will talk shit on Dragoons every so often, but one of the things that I am in love with is how both Estinian and the essence of Nidhogg as characters have sort of grown over time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a little fanficky of me, but I genuinely believe that Nidhogg's essence is semi-aware of what's going on while working with Estinian. Like, they are allies. Like, they are aware of each other. So the fact
So
that this shit's happening, one, only gives more credence to my little fanficky thinking, and two, I think is just a very good full circle for where Dragoon was and where it is now.
And honestly, it's really good story wise for those who played the like OG Dragoon story and everything, because they were introduced to the eyes of Nidhogg way back in fucking ARR, and now it's like now you just summon a apparition of Nidhogg. Like you are basically on par with Estinian at this point, and you could take the most feared dragon in this game and just say, "Hey, you want to help me out? You want that blood? You want? Get him."
And you're right, Dark. Dragoons get their power from the eyes of Nidhogg, like from like dragon sacrifice. But what's really cool is now instead of it being like a parasitic, it's more of a symbiotic relationship, which I think
Yes.
really adds a great full circle. Because you know what you could do? Like, I'm just completely throwing ideas out at this point. This is no credence. There's nothing of what I'm about to say has any real relevance of like, yes, this is totally what's going to happen. But how cool would it be in a like FF14 sequel where like hundreds of years have passed by and there's a whole new story and generation, and the Dragoons and the Dragons are purely like this very closely knit allyship. Like, Dragoons are basically just dragon riders in, like, a potential sequel or continuation of the history that grows. Because that's where it feels like it's going, and this only adds to the potential of what once were enemies are now the closest of kin.
Now, here's my thing, right? Seeing that we summon Nidhogg. What if, right, another attack you get in those combos there is that you can summon Hraesvelgur as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying, right? Is that it opens up the idea that as the game goes on for the next, like, 5 to 10 years, they're aiming for another 10 years. Yeah, see, well, with Dark, I wanted that too, but I realized that, like, having them be that close so quick would feel very flat. So I'm actually glad that they've...
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that it's really good that they've, like, taken their time with it. But that's what I'm saying, right, Cade? You do this, and now you've opened the floodgates to where the dragons could gift the power to the Dragoons going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just a thing that could possibly be done, and I think that's so cool.
Because from this, it's just been that Dragoons gain this power either via the eyes, obviously, which is usually how they did it back in the Heavensward War, but they also could gain this ability from, you know, intaking their blood, which is what the rival faction did. I can't remember what they were called at the time. The one Shiva worked for.
Yeah.
So I bet you that's what it kind of is now. It's just like, here, partake of some of my blood and gain power in order to combat those that would end us both, essentially.
And we're already in, like, a system where it is known fact that the leader of Radzat is a dragon, and everyone's just kind of cool with it. And some people are even elated with it. So I'll tell you what, I can 100% see, like, a future where in Heavensward there's the Elezen leaders, there's the dragon leaders, and as far as anyone is concerned, you treat both with the highest amount of respect because they are metaphorically and possibly intentionally in bed together, and everyone, it's like the worst kept secret and everyone's cool with it. Look, what I'm just saying is that Final Fantasy XIV is canonically allowing dragon fuckers, and I'm here for it. So, this one with Black Mage, I know Black Mage doesn't already have, like, a storm ability like that. Their big thing has always been... Like, they do have electricity, but their big thing has been fire and ice. I am excited to see how much more electricity magic they're throwing in. That'll be neat to see.
Honestly, I'm excited about it, but also my brain is just like, oh god, what would the rotation look? Because it's already, like... It seems simple, because, again, Fire 4, but... Soon it's gonna be like... I feel like this is gonna make it like, oh god, I'm dancing between a third element. This is gonna be awesome, but awful.
Actually, I just realized, you being a Dark Knight main, when we do get to Dark Knight, I'm actually gonna be able to get your opinions on something. That'll be very nice. Okay, so their summoner, electricity, Grandpappy, fuck, what is the it's not Raubon. Old dude, Thunder, has a big beard.
Ramu.
Old Pappy Ramu? Old Pappy Ramu, maybe, for summoner?
And maybe they'll have their dots again?
Listen, we can only... I want Paladin to have its dots back. Oh, and here's where I get happy. Let me see if I can time
That
this.
that monk slash looks fucking insane. Yes.
Let me see if I can time this correctly. That's a motherfucking tiger. That is a motherfucking tiger.
You know how I can tell that's an upgrade? Because if you look super close, that is the starting animation for what's the name
In a
called?
release. It's when you have all your chakras and then you like.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's an upgrade for that as well. The other thing too, right here, you can see that they're leaning in with a double punch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like one fist at like the stomach area, one fist at like the chest area. It's a wholly different animation. So I'm curious if that is an upgrade or if that is an addition. But I think you're right, because everything about this ability screams inner release. And it looks so fucking good.
Monk Bang Gang!
Let's go! Bang Bang! Monk Bang! Monk Bang! Monk Bang! Okay, so to give some preference, my DPS mains are Monk, Samurai, and Reaper, and when Viper dropped, it's gonna be Viper. I love how Monk plays right now. I have been such a Monk simp for so long. And I've been talking so much shit about Monk for so long because it never felt enough. But in Endwalker, this shit hits. It works. It clicks. And while I have a little bit of concern or a little bit of like criticism, the flow of Monk has never felt better to me. And I love the shit out of it.
Dante, what you're saying is that you're eating good today alongside all of us.
Oh yeah. Dante and I all about that melee. We all about that melee up in here. We could use magic, but we could also just drop kick a bitch.
We could also just Phantom Flurry them and just like fighting game combo them.
So
that is why I love Monk, is because I'm a fighting game player and I'm like, this class plays like a fucking fighting game. What the fuck?
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting, because like the biggest criticism I would say of Monk right now is that sometimes it's a little hard and a little janky to get your dots and your twin snakes to play nicely. But like that's just where you gotta get good with it. And like I've been using Monk in my static group. I swear playing in a static has made me such a better player, because after a couple of rounds of doing Endsinger, I'm like, oh, this is how I play Monk. Got it.
Yeah. It takes a while for you to learn how best to time it. But as soon as you do, you just start flying. Plus, it always feels great when you can look at the timers and be like, all right, I have 7 seconds on this. That means I need to start that combo. Because it instantly clicks, right?
And then the thing that's also really nice, at least with me, is that like because of how Monk is, you also have the availability to like allow something to drop. You never want your dot and your twin snakes to drop at the same time. Like if they're both down, you need to get that shit back up. But if you have to choose between a Dragon Kick Bootshine combo or keeping up one of them, you can let one of them drop for the sake of that combo and then get the boost back up. But like when I realized that, Monk started making sense again. And I already loved how cool the Flurry Rush is with Monk. Just So I'm already hyped for it, and I love that we're seeing something more dramatic. I've said for the longest time that the only thing I need from Monk is for it to be a little more extra in its animations. And
the after effects on that Dragon Punch, like the paint style that comes after it makes me so fucking excited.
Oh yeah, it's 100% taking from the tiger from the Criterion dungeons.
But
like, and from Stormblood.
Absolutely not.
No, that's a good thing. I like that they're keeping on theme with that shit. Also, look at this Monk glam.
I know.
So good.
And it's like, it also feels good because, again, it's a natural evolution from Stormblood. You're learning from those ancient masters that, were the gods of Stormblood's lands.
And the best part And with any luck, the best part about anything that we're seeing in the benchmark is that it's just a taste. Like, there's more to be seen soon.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and... I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, Cade. Keep going.
No. That was all I was saying,
Okay.
is that I love it how it's like that evolution of each classes kind of have this evolution of their expansion sort of influencing them and how they play. For example, later we'll see Samurai do a fucking spinny dive before his W-shaped wave, which that attack looks fucking insane, by the way. I know that's an upgrade of his of the level 2 where you have 2 symbols. Or that's a new attack that's going to play off of it, which is going to be even more insane. Because I don't know which it is, but I'm so excited for that move.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll wait until we get to Samurai, actually.
Yeah. Because I know what you're talking about. I want to get there, too.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like the design of this snake monster. Like, they're really going out with all of, like, the details and the frills and, like, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's really
I also love
nice.
it how they're making them... Like, I didn't think they could make, like, new monster designs for this new land we're going to. But then you see this thing, and it's like, that is an octopus rattlesnake.
Yup! Okay, so starting off with my favorite tank... Right there, that slam down, that's got me excited for a couple of reasons.
That's a dot. That's a dot. Like, look at the lightning. It's a dot. It has to be. Especially since if you look real close, you see the debuff, like, shadow that comes up.
So here's the thing that I'm really excited for, because I feel like the current problem with Paladin, besides it not having hardly any dots anymore, is that it really focuses too much on the magic angle, in my opinion. There's, like, to give some example, for anyone who's played Paladin, you guys remember your old 1-2-3 combo and how it was like a flurry rush of swords with a slam down? That shit always looked good to me. I loved the fuck out of the animation. But then, later on, it gets replaced by the leaping turnaround slash, which looks okay, but I don't feel like it has that same oomph. It doesn't have that factor that I feel like a lot of these classes should have. Now, we go into something like this with what Paladin's doing. That's the oomph, that skill, that blade twirl. Paladin is supposed to be the marriage of magic and DPS. Like, Paladin is supposed to be the closest we will get to a melee magic class. Like, that is like a magic DPS melee kind of thing. Like, Paladin is that shit. And for it to, like, get back into that vibe of having something more mundane that slams into something bigger will, one, make the Garen ults look a lot cooler and be a little less overstated. And it will, I'm hoping that it makes the lead up into that Ender more fun, because the current state of it is lacking. It's lacking that fun factor other than, like, the simple sword slashes. We need a little bit of something, and here it is.
I really hope that is an upgrade to the what's it called, attunement, where after you get your sword oath you get that special attack. Like, that's what that is like, you do your 1-2-3 combo, you get that bonk at the end.
I think it would have to be, because I don't see it being an upgrade to your off global that has you, like, jump up and slam the sword down, which is also a great animation, by the way. I don't think it's an upgrade to that, but I think you're right that it's an upgrade to the already established, like, sword slash combo, which would be so satisfying. Give it to me. Give it to me now. Put it in my mouth. Also,
being Red Mage.
But did you see? Are you seeing what Red Mage is doing?
Oh, with, like, the vine twirls and shit.
Yeah,
like,
with the Yu Yu Hakusho ass vine whip.
It's like they saw Grand Blue, they saw Rose Mommy, and went, "Yeah, we could do that."
Yeah, we should do that. I'm really excited for that in a couple of people, because, like, I dabble in Red Mage. It's not my favorite, but I do like it a lot. I really like the idea of Red Mage having some more, like, in-between shit, or... Because, like, right now, the biggest problem with Red Mage that people have is that it's almost like the reverse of Paladin. It's a lot of, like, weaving together your spells to do a very short, bursty sword opener. Having more melee askew stuff in this... Actually, it's not the antithesis. It's almost the exact same. Having more, like, intricate, more interesting little mix-ups, people are hoping that this isn't just an AoE, that it's something more than that. If it is an AoE, it's kind of cool looking in its own right.
It kind of feels like it's going to be one of those ones where it does, like, a output to a single target and then an AoE afterwards. A lot like how most of our monk ultimates do.
Yeah. And then there's this going on. I don't know what the fuck this is. It happened so goddamn fast. Like, do you see it? Like, it's just like this little chainsaw buzzsaw thing. I have no idea, but here's Samurai. Who gave Samurai Warrior's ability? Who gave Samurai a helm splitter? And why does it look so goofy as shit? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know what I think this is? I think this is a new ender to that. I can't think of what it's called, but like the 3-stage attack. And the reason I say that
like
is because
Shohan stuff.
Yep. Because you see that it does the circle slash down, and it has like that little AoE thing. It's very much similar to when you have all 3 of your little stacks, and then you do the spinning move, because you've got the slashes and you've got the ice at the bottom. This has got the same vibes. I think this is either an upgrade or it is a new addition to the Ender. And what I would personally really want, you know how we can, like, double up on the ability?
Yes.
I would love if you do the regular combo, and then when you do the double up, it turns into whatever the hell this is.
So, here's the thing. Go back a little bit more, because you have to really look in the fucking background of what the Samurai's doing this whole time, and it's hard. It's really
he's doing
hard.
His charge up stance!
Exactly. He goes from meditation into that, which is like, thank God they might be giving it something other than charge, which is what I hope it is. I hope it's you sit there and what I think it is you get the 3 symbols, or maybe even just the show. Yeah, I think if you have to not use the 3-second hit of each stage, you get I use all of it. But what I think it is, you know how every time you cast one of those, right? You get one of those little dots.
you get 3 of those dots, and then all 3 of those dots turn into like an off global like little flurry slash.
What I think it is a choice. You can either send those 3, right, to get a quick, nice show off. However, if you meditate, then meditate transforms into this attack.
I don't think it's going to be meditation turning into it. Honestly, I think it's more likely that it's going to be an upgraded version of this. So, like, I think the 3 dots and then you go into that off global, I think it's just an upgraded version.
Probably, but that would be so cool if they gave meditation something else. Because
yeah, I agree.
Those are honestly one of my pet peeves about this game, are those hold attacks. Like the annotment, for example. It is such a cool thing that monks do, where you sit there and you just put both fists together and charge up your ki. But you never
really get a chance to use
them.
You literally use it to keep your shit together during downtime. And I'm kind of with you.
Which there is rarely downtime that doesn't knock you down and stun you.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of with you on that. It goes back to, like, FF during, like, the Stormblood days, where I would get annoyed with buttons that, like, had a purpose, but, like, you never really need to use them. So, like, when some buttons got taken away, it was like, alright, cool, like, this is fine. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of feel like with the way that Samurai is now, like, they should have gotten rid of meditation, not our damage booster ability, because everyone used the damage booster ability. Meditation was
recipes,
just a
Cat King.
thing.
But I would love to see that. But you know what would also just be like a fun little thing that they add to Samurai? Probably not this move specifically, but what if they gave us a counter? Like you third eye and then you can hit a counter on him. I know he had one before.
Oh, do we not
but
have it
also
anymore?
I would just no, well, the thing is,
Did they take that away?
it was kind of reworked for PvP. If you third eye in PvP, you gain the damage boost, right? The Heihatsu. And then that is why people can one-shot with their ultimate, is they third eye, gain the damage buff, and then it can 1-0 you. Ow.
Okay, I have not played Samurai in a hot minute, so I have completely forgotten if we had that counter anymore. So that is a little less than ideal, but yeah, honestly, I would love a counter. I would love a counter like that. Now, I also love that we're seeing an upgrade or like an addition to the chainsaw thing, because that's actually one of the things that makes me kind of want to play Machinist. I love the buzzsaw, like that's fucking cool. Also, this...
You can go off about this one because you're the Astro player.
Okay, so here's the thing. I like Astro. I've liked Astro since Stormblood and onward. And I think Astro has, for the most part, only gotten better because the RNG is less of a factor. But they don't make the card drawing very fun. It feels like a tacked-on factor to a prediction healer. I like the card system. I don't think they've been able to get it to work in a way that really makes people jive with it. Hello.
Hi.
Mwah. Naked
Wife interruption.
I have a phone interview tomorrow at a women's health clinic as a receptionist.
Yeah!
It's only $16 an
Let's
hour.
go!
It's more than what I was getting paid.
Also, it's local, so like any money you wouldn't be making would be a lot cheap. Like it would be fine.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. We're just nerding out.
Okay, you be nerds.
Yep.
You've been a nerd your whole life.
I'm not stopping now. Oh, that feels good. My wife is scratching my head.
I got the long nails for it too. He went limp.
Wow, Ari, I didn't think you would kill Basil on before you guys officially got married. Goddamn.
She was scratching my head real good. We already said I'm golden retriever coded. All right, so going back to Astro before we were delightfully interrupted. I think the best Astro has ever been was back in Shadowbringers. And I say that because you had this really cool combination of the cards building up into a group-wide raid buff. I thought that shit was the coolest. In Endwalker, they kind of fucked it up. They kind of fucked it up in Endwalker because they made it to where that buff is now just an off-global with a long as fuck cooldown. It basically took away the cool aspect of using the cards. Now, it's a self-buff. If you do the card mechanic, you can self-buff yourself. And I say this fully knowing that this is just probably a me problem, but I think that's really boring. Like, Astro is supposed to be the team buffer healer. That's Astro's bit. People get lost. When people want to talk about Astro, they get lost for the forest through the trees. I think I'm saying that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is, they get lost in the discussion of what Astro's supposed to be. Astro's gimmick has been and always will be, they are the buff healer. White Mage is the regen healer. It's like the proper, just pure bare bones, but it works very well. Hell, you can even make the argument that White Mage is one of the higher DPS healers. Sage is a shield DPS healer, and Scholar is a shield buffer healer. Astro is supposed to be the regen buff healer. So when you took away that and you just made it, they didn't really take it away. But when you disconnected what that meant and just made it a self-buff, I thought it was boring. So what I'm really hoping for, what I'm dying for is that the Astro thing here is going back to making a more interesting party buff. I don't want it to be a party heal or a shield. We have enough of that shit. Make the cards and the buffing aspect of Astro more interesting. That is what Astro needs, and I'm really hoping that that's what this is, because when you watch it, and then everyone gets like these little bits like that, that is either another sit it and forget it heal, which would be boring, or it's a party buff, and I want so badly for it to be a party buff. Let me go back to that, please.
I think that's what it is, because it was immediately they had to have chosen that, because right after we see Ninja do a new version of their frog ult, which, by the way, Ninja new frog cast? What the hell?
The Naruto allegations are never being beat.
Never. But the thing is, that move, you don't use on a single target.
Oh.
Because that's an AoE move. However, as you can clearly see, it's not in this case.
And
which makes me wonder,
it might even be a dot with like some of the lingering effects on it.
That's what I'm curious about. Or if they wanted to be real spicy with Ninja now, they make that an attack debuff. Because with Ninja, I've always felt like Ninja doesn't do damage, but they're always setting up everybody else. That was always what I felt like Ninja wanted to do, is to be the debuff class. And that would be awesome for like that move to do a fair amount of damage, but specifically either nerf their defense or nerf their attack.
I think that would be fun to make that
bam, go off everybody.
Yeah, because a lot of people, whenever you bring up like debuffing the attack and such, it's like everyone like talks about how like, oh, but if they do that, then they're gonna probably give that to everyone. It's like, okay, but what if they didn't? What if they just made it where Ninja does a very particular thing? Like, because everyone has mitigation, but like, what if Ninja's thing is more specifically the mitigation DPS?
And I've always wanted one of those in the game. We used to have them in prior expansions. Like, some classes did it, and then they just kind of tapered off into just being, oh, we'll give everybody debuffs. But I've always liked, because this is a Final Fantasy game first, as we have all always said.
Yep.
And then, always in Final Fantasy, there's a character, like, I don't know, a certain ninja in Final Fantasy VII, that is a debuff. And that's just their main role, is to be a debuff character, which they then become a huge part of the battle because it helps out a shit ton when the enemy decides, hey, I'm going to hit you with this attack that isn't like a mechanic you can dodge. I'm just going to hurt you. And then everyone puts up mitigation, but it still fucking hurts. Then you have the ninja over here like, I'm just going to nerf your attack by 15% because fuck you.
Yeah, it has a role for that. I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, so here's the thing that I'm really liking. So far, people were very curious about if Viper's dual blade thing is going to be like opener, ender, etc. Just from how quickly and we'll see this more later, how quickly Viper switches back and forth between the dual blade and the single glaive. I don't think the glaive and dual blade is a two-stager. I think the two-stager is the powered up form. I think the whole point is going to be literally it's going to be more like Reapers, right? You've got your 1-2-3 combo, then you've got the dual blade, like the glaive combo that gives you some kind of extra boost up that then goes into the blue stage form, which I really like. Because I felt like some people were saying, like, or I got the impression they were saying, like, oh, the glaive mode is going to be, like, you go into the glaive mode and you stay in glaive mode until it does something else. I'm like, no, I think you're going to be swapping back and forth. Because Viper seems very Reaper-coded. which I like. I hope they don't make this a habit of doing this, because currently we have 3 classes that you can make the argument have, like, the self Super Saiyan stage. Hi, baby.
I heard you talking about Ninja, and my brain automatically went to the streamer. I now know you're talking about Final Fantasy.
You were so goofy.
I know.
So, my opinion
Miles.
on it is about hello.
They said hi.
Is a thing where what I feel like it is. That's what I was about to say. I feel like the glaive might be a continuation combo type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it might not be like where you pop continuation once and then you're waiting 20 seconds. No, it's just a matter of. I feel like it's going to be a meter burn where
Yeah.
your normal attacks gain a meter, and then you can spend that meter doing high damage glaive combos.
And then doing that glaive combo gets you into a second meter that becomes your Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah!
Which is very Reaper coded, but it's also a little different from Reaper, because
I need to
Reaper's...
play more Reaper.
Oh, Reaper's so fun. What I'm hoping for is that, because, like, with Reaper, it's more of a very slow build-up into, like, the other, like, slashing form that you use, where you use your little spirit to help you with stuff. It's good. I like the pacing of it. What I'm really hoping for is that Viper's is very ADHD, where it is flopping back and forth from the 2 stages very, very quickly. Yes, Dark, I'm really hoping that it's a mixture of Gunbreaker and Reaper, where, like, instead of, like...
That would be great.
Because Gunbreaker and Reaper both have the same thing, where, like, they slowly build up and then get to do their crazy continuation or insane combos. I would love if, like, imagine if the standard is the continuation, where, like, the continuation combo isn't doing extra damage, it's just increasing that meter, and the continuation is dual blade seamlessly into glaive, seamlessly into dual blade, until you finally go Super Saiyan. That would be
Oh my
different
God.
enough to be its own thing, but also would clearly show where the inspiration is. And like I was saying before, the thing I like about this is that you can really only make the strong argument that 3 classes in the game have, like, a transformation mode. And that's Reaper, now Viper, and Warrior. Like, I don't count Summoner's Summons as, like, a transformation mode. I don't count White Mage's Wings as a transformation mode.
Those are, well, the White Mage Wings thing is just a buff.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
not
just a buff.
It's not a transformation. It's not a Kaioken.
It doesn't change how you play it at all. It is just, hey, I put up wings, now you guys don't take as much damage. That's it.
Yeah, and then
While Summoner, well, it's just in the name. That's just, it's summoning. It isn't transforming the way you played it.
well, it slightly is, because, like, you do get some slightly different, like, abilities mixed in with your summoner. You do get some different stuff, but it
Dark
is
put it right.
it is just more damage.
It's-
Yeah.
It's just more damage. You don't do anything different. It's just more damage.
And then the same thing with Gunbreaker. You're still you. You're just trying harder. You're doing maximum effort. But with
I love that, but yeah.
But with Reaper, Warrior, and now Viper, there is literally a notable shift in the person's design and character that is no, this is an unleashing, this is a transformation. And I'm really happy that Viper has this. I'm really hoping this does not become a reoccurring thing. I think it would really lessen the impact of the 3 transformation classes we have if several of them got it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel like at most, if they want to keep having classes have sort of a second phase, let's say, quote unquote, just make them like second phases that are in line with what the classes do.
Yeah.
For example, let's say you get a second phase with Paladin, right? All I want is for them to just unleash their wings and keep the wings on them instead of, being the passage.
Yeah.
That's all I would want, is just to be like, I am suddenly more holy than I was holy before, and meanwhile I'll start.
Yeah,
that,
I
Shut the
don't
fuck up.
mind if several of the classes get like a little aesthetic buff to like when they hit certain points in their combo.
Yeah.
But like very much like what we just mentioned before with Summoner and with White Mage. But I love the aesthetic of actually having like this mini limit breaker mode.
Yes.
But I also don't want every class to have it, because if everyone has it, then nobody has it.
Then nobody has it.
Plus, I just don't think it fits for a lot of classes. Like,
Mhm.
it just wouldn't click. But yeah, now we're gonna get to see more of the game in play, and we'll talk more.
Mainly only melees.
No, see, I wouldn't want that. I actually would look, because, like, right now, to my knowledge, there isn't a ranged character that has, like, a mini limit breaker. You know what? I'm gonna dub this. We're gonna dub this the mini breaker.
Pause it real quick, because that's a yes and a no.
Yeah.
Because the one that would count is actually Bard.
Bard has a mini breaker?
In a way. In that after you do all 3 of your songs and you combo your button presses right, you get something called something finale. I think it's like Fortissimo finale.
Okay, but isn't that just like a big arrow finisher attack? Is it really like a going Super Saiyan?
It's a party buff as well.
Oh.
That is why it is like both a big hit, but it's your like final party buff that you unleash.
Okay, I like that.
And that's why I say it
actually
technically counts as having one as well.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I would say, but yeah, I would say mini breaker should be something that after this expansion, get away from designing mini breaker classes, because if the next DPS or tank we get is a mini breaker, I'll rephrase. If we would get another tank that's a mini breaker, I can live with that. Probably also because it would share armor with Warrior. Like, Warrior would actually have a second of itself, you know?
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that. But I would say that, like, I just hope that the success of Reaper, and probably soon to be the success of Viper, doesn't make the developers have, like, an uncontrollable hard-on for mini breaker forms. Like, that would be too much.
It will get old very quick if we keep getting
like, because, like, while I think the homogenization complaint is heavily overblown, this is the Final Fantasy XIV community, of fucking course it is, it's not that it's not warranted. Having class diversification in how it feels and looks is important. And one of the trip ups the devs could do would be giving way too many form changes to classes, especially when they just don't need it. Like Samurai and Paladin, I don't think they would ever need a mini breaker. Like I love what they are now. They are like, I am the most grounded of the fantasy of what this is to be.
Hell, I would say if they gave one to Monk, I would actually be a little mad.
Agreed. Go off. I know exactly where you're going with this.
So, one thing, obviously, there's the factor of us going off earlier about how Monk is already in such a state that it just don't change it. It's good at the moment. It doesn't need anything else. And all they have to do with Monk is make the attacks way more stylized and flourishy. And that's basically it. If they gave Monk a next form, I would be a little mad because, in my opinion, Monk has always been the class that is just you use your fists. That's it.
Or another way to phrase it is that the beauty of Monk and Pugilist is that it continues to raise the bar to what a normal person with training and effort can do. You don't have to go into some special form. You don't have to tap into some unlimited power. Now, like, the chakra and shit, yes, that's that. But it's always had this martial artist inner energy, like the power was always inside you kind of shit.
Yeah, that's what the chakras were. They were just referencing, the actual in-life phenomena, that being the 7 chakras.
So
which I was so for.
So if you would give Monk a Super Saiyan form, like, sure, people would be hype about it for, like, a minute because, oh my god, they put the Dragon Ball Z in the Final Fantasy! But then the problem would be, okay, cool. How long until we get Super Saiyan Blue for Monk now? Like, the transformations would become the class, and
it would also
man, I would hate the fuck out of that. That would not be my cup of tea.
Oh man, that would be so painful too, because you have people like us, right, that are lore nerds about how the classes are and stuff. Like, I will always rant about Dark Knight's story like no fucking other if it weren't going to spoil people on it.
Right.
Imagine if like Dark Knight got a second form. I would be fucking furious.
Honestly,
Because
the thing that I feel like Dark Knight needs, it doesn't need a second form, it just needs a berserker burst or something. It needs like
exactly.
it needs a point where like it goes into this very short, like screaming at the top of their lungs, like darkness angry form, but not like what Warrior has, where like Warrior actively is like, I've unleashed the beast.
You know what? I've always wanted this attack, right? What I've always wanted with Dark Knight is like 1 or 2 attacks where it's you and Frey working together, because that's always been the story of Dark Knight.
Wait, that'd be sick as hell. Wait a minute, like you do your normal shit and then there's like an ender where it's synchronized. That'd be sick as fuck.
Yes. Or like, you know how many of those summon attacks have the ending stinger, like how I think it's Summoner with Bahamut, you have the last attack he does before he leaves.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, when the timer on Frey ends, you get one more attack. That's just you both fucking doing a combo attack.
No,
and
honestly, that'd be so good.
Maybe a summon of Mistel as well, because I want Mistel back.
Honestly, I feel like
my
Dark
child.
Knight has so much potential, and I'm one of the biggest, like, Dark Knight bullies. Like, I like Dark Knight. Dark Knight is as good as everyone says lore-wise, but because Dark Knight is not fun to play, for me, I like bullying Dark Knights a lot.
And it's great. It's great to bully Dark Knight.
How else
I
are you
love my
going to stay
class.
edgy if you don't have
Exactly.
something to be bullied for?
Exactly. But also, like, I loved what they gave Dark Knight in Shadowbringer, or in Endwalker, but also
It wasn't enough.
Dark Knight became really bland.
Yeah.
Because you blow your load at the first 2 minutes of the fight, and then you're just sitting there like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, no, and that
You don't
that
have any
is
skills. You're done.
that is actually my problem with Dark Knight, is that they front loaded Dark Knight and then it made it to where, like, well, fuck me, I guess. Alright, but let's go ahead and keep watching this. I love these big old, like, frog-looking people. They are ugly as shit, and I love them. They're like the pugs of the amphibian-looking world.
I brought them in here because I don't want you to
Yeah.
hyper focused
And then completely forget he exists. Yeah. Thank you. Love you too. Sorry, my mom was just telling me.
Look at all the alpacas!
Yeah.
And then I love this next bit. This bit always makes me smile. Look at all the cactars!
Little shits.
The draw distance is so good.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. But what that was just my mom was saying everyone's leaving, so someone's gonna watch our new dog.
Okay.
So she just brought him in here with me. So they die because they can't breathe correctly.
you weren't here for him. I was talking about the big frog giant dude. Like, he looks like a pug, but amphibian, and I love him. Okay, so now there is some blinking you'll miss it shit here, so we gotta kind of be careful of that.
Mhm.
First of all, I want to go back to... See, like, right there is still... Okay, so, like, there is, like, I think probably what's going to happen is, unlike what I want, I think Viper's going to have the dual blade form, goes into the glaive form, goes back into the dual blade form. Like, I think that's standard. It's unfortunate, but that's probably what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Fucking Muggles.
There is... Okay, so this is the big one. This is where I need your opinion on this. Because it seems so subtle. I want to like play it first, but it seems so subtle. But as someone who has dabbled with Dark Knight before, it looks like it's something more. And again, Dark Knight's fun aesthetic is that they are darkness incarnate and all that shit. But a lot of their best abilities are when they are swinging the big fuck off sword. So here it is.
Yep.
Like, it's very minimal. It's very swift. but like
So-
the combo is still going in the background.
Exactly.
That shit right there. I'm pretty sure that's not in your kit already.
Hell no, it ain't. So, the thing that I caught on immediately when I was watching this, you see the full Dark Knight rotation in there. You see, even before that, like right there, that was Soul Eater, our jumping, spinning like Blood Eater's blood attack, right? And then you see that slash right there. That is your second hit of the combo, my guy.
And then you eventually lead into... Which, that alone has been something that Dark Knight has been needing for forever. This big fuck-off slash move.
And I thought that's what they wanted Shadowbringer to be, but it always felt like another... It felt like it was Flood of Shadow, just a bigger hit, which made it really sad because first of all, its name is Shadowbringer. Like, come on! That attack was supposed to be amazing because it's the expansion name!
Yup. Oh, also,
But-
you can only see it in the corner, but look at this corner really quick and tell me what this is.
Oh, that's what I was saying. That was our spinny slash attack that we use our blood gauge on.
Okay,
That's a
yeah.
normal
And then,
move we have.
and then from there, if the benchmark can be like taken at face value, from there they go into another combo.
They go into the 1, 2, 3 they normally have, except they have in between buttons. Is the thing I'm excited about. That cross slash is something we don't have.
And then
That is something new.
And then that slam down is like a big combo ender you don't have.
I feel like they're gonna upgrade Soul Eater to that. Soul Eater is our final hit of the combo.
Yeah.
Usually what it would be is you stab into them and then like lunge back. But that looks like it's just you do the wide slash, which is your second hit, and then come back down with the Soul Eater attack, which honestly I'm for. Because that just looks cool.
That shit looks
The thing
very
that-
satisfying.
The thing that makes me think it's an upgrade of Soul Eater is those orbs up there, that was a sign that you were healing off the attack. Because it was the last hit of the combo, you heal from it. But what I loved is that Soul Eater does the stab and jump up, but you're also like stealing their essence from them to heal off of it. And you see the orbs come out and pull towards you. So I think that's what that is that after you that boom, the orbs come and heal you.
Then, is there anything else you wanted to say about Dark Knight?
So far, it doesn't look like there's anything else there based on what we could see of Dark Knight. But I
Right,
am
but-
excited because that looks like more... The thing about Dark Knight's kit is that we do have some in-between buttons, but all it is Edge of Shadow, which is our, like, mana-using attack. But that cross-slash looks like it's something that either A, it's gonna be only an upgrade to one of our attacks that we use in between at our front load, or it's another attack we can use our blood gauge on for a nice in between our 1, 2, 3 combo, which would be fucking great because waiting to get to 50 blood to use another blood spiller, which is that spin smack with the little beam coming up, that would be so nice.
Yeah,
And it would also like put some nice thought process on the class. It would make you strategize more because it's like, hey, I can use some of my gauge here on this little attack, or I can save it to do blood spiller.
Like before we mentioned that like the class doesn't really incentivize you doing anything but like unloading completely, but with the way that the new ability might play into this, they might actually make you have to think about what you're doing.
What I would love is for that cross slash to do something. For example, be another shield, because that's what Dark Knight has always wanted to be, the shield tank class, right? But we only have TBN.
Yeah.
That's the only shield thing we have, which is like, a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't have more than TBN. I'm like, but yeah, that's all Dark Knight is now. It's TBN and a 2-minute rotation. That's boring.
Mm-hmm.
I love that class to fucking death, but there's a reason I went from being a tank main to a fucking monk main in fucking Endwalker. Because I was bored. I was bored of just hitting the 1-2-3 combo, 1-2-3, Edge of Shadow if I have 6,000 mana, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 6,000 mana. Like, your brain turns off when all you are is TBN.
Yeah, it just stops being a whole thing. Now, what I'm a little curious about, this thing with Reaper. So normally the big ender for Reaper is like the big claws, and usually you don't see these crystal things pop up unless it's an AoE. A part of me wonders if this is an AoE finisher, which could be cool, but I'm doubtful that it is, because Reaper already has a pretty sizable AoE finisher. So what I think is that this is some kind of ender or some kind of off global that you can use when you're in Reaper form before you drop the big blade claws.
The big old Communio.
Yeah, so like, cause like right here you kind of see in Reaper form this big old claw thing, and like they aren't dropping out of. Oh, actually they are. They've dropped out of their shrouded form. You can tell. Because, like, when you go into
the aura is gone.
Yeah, the aura is completely gone. So what I'm wondering is that is this just a whole new upgrade to the blade finisher? Which, that's fine if it is. I kind of hope it's not.
Oh, you know what would be interesting?
What?
It's a AoE communion. Like, because communion does pop you out of your form, right?
Yeah.
It's your big fuck off blast.
Right. But
or this would be even more interesting. That is just an upgrade to your normal like Reaper form. Like now you're just in the red form because you're strong enough to fucking take it.
Maybe. I'm honestly thinking that it's more an upgrade of the big Reaper.
Oh, you're right. Communion is already AoE. It's the thing where it's the big attack up front.
Yeah, exactly.
AoE.
It's one of those. So my thought process is this is a completely separate ability that you can do instead of Communion, and maybe has like a long ass off global, or it's just an upgrade to Communion. Because
you know what's something that I would love it to be, but I know it's not gonna be.
What?
If it works like the ultimate Reaper has in PvP, where it terrifies the enemy. So it's like a second type of stun, where it's like, oh god, I don't want to hit that guy. And first off, it lowers your enmity gauge, and they are stunned for a couple seconds. Obviously, it wouldn't work on bosses, but still, that would be cool, just to have a fucking AoE, like, ender button that stuns a group of mods, because fuck you!
That could be cool. Also, holy shit, I accidentally found a great screenshot frame. What the fuck? But
Yeah,
what I'm really worried or really wanting for this to be just a second attack that you can do that is very powerful, and like you would pop this when you don't have Communion. But like, because like this is cool, I still think the blades with Communion is cooler. I would hate that if this replaced that fully.
Oh, you know what just clicked?
What?
I think you're right. That does sound about right. It sounds like something that's like, hey, the enemy's about to die, so might as well just drop Reaper form now with this attack.
Yeah. Dark also says they have an idea. Dark, hit us with it while we keep going. This makes me want to play Bard again. That do look like a good attack. I've said for a while that Bard is fun, but I feel like it's missing something. I feel like that its big oomph doesn't really do it. It's hard to proc it. This here looks like something that I would love to play with Bard. Like, that seems like a good ender. That looks like some cool shit.
You know what's my thing with Bard?
What's that?
I like it where it is. And I know that's a hot take based on how I've seen it. I know that's a hot take, but there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like what I've always wanted Dancer to be. You are playing... It always felt like, yes, there's not much there, but that's kind of the point of Bard. You are just in the background of the party, singing them their songs and tales of heroism, while giving them party buffs and stuff. That's what I've always felt it is. It didn't need to be much because you're helping in your way. And the class in with the abilities itself and how you play it always felt like that to me. Is that it's just, it feels like you're playing out a song. I don't know how to explain this, but it always
I
felt
get what
good
you're
to
saying.
play.
You're saying that you like the subtlety of Bard right now. You don't need it to
Yeah.
be super, like, in the face. Like, if you don't notice a Bard is there, that's a good thing kind of logic. Because Dancer's kind of like that now. Like, unless you, like, are paying attention to Dancer, like, you
Fuck
don't
the RNG.
fully...
Okay, how to get that out of my system.
You don't fully see it. Now, here's the thing. I kind of agree with you, but my argument to that would be that the thing with Final Fantasy that I think all classes should attempt to do is that they should give you something that makes you feel like a fantastical version of the thing you're playing. So Bard having this sort of cooler ender that you can revel in, like, I would even say that animation we saw still isn't even that big of a deal. Like, it's pretty subtle in, like, what it is. It goes by very quickly. It's this cool little flurry of arrows.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, my heart. Oh, fuck, my heart. Oh, why did I notice that?
We'll get there eventually, chat, I promise.
Do you recognize those arrows?
No?
Second to last fight in the most recent Alliance raid.
Oh! Oh! I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I noticed that because you're using his arrows, and I'm like, fuck! The heart! The heart!
Well, see, there you go. Miles is wrong. Bard needs this ability.
Apparently! Ow!
But no,
Because that's actually insanely smart that you're singing the song of his tale, because it's like, we just killed him, I'm sorry!
No, but, like, I do agree with you that I do think, like, the support DPS classes should have, like, more subtle influence. But being that it's Final Fantasy XIV, I also feel like every class should have that capstone ability that makes you go, fuck yeah, I'm a red mage. Fuck yeah, I'm a viper. Fuck yeah, I'm a paladin. But
Gotcha.
I feel like Bard doesn't have that. And, like, what they have is close, but it still needs a little bit of help. Also, to respond to Dark, basically what we were saying with it being like an off global, but the more souls you didn't use before using that ability, the more damage it does, but it's only single target, and I don't mean like 5,000 damage, we're talking like 1,100 to 1,600. Honestly, I like that, because you know what that could be? Since Reaper's opener currently is all about, like, setting yourself up to get into Reaper form ASAP, that could work out really well, actually. Just, like, you go into Reaper form immediately, you pop the big off-global, and then immediately you're trying to get back into Reaper form a second time, which would then be your regular combo. That would be kind of sick. That would be kind of sick. And of course, this is the shit that I'm the most excited about when it comes to Viper.
Cool. Like, there's nothing else about it. It just looks fucking cool.
This looks like a mini limit breaker, and it's so fucking cool because everything else about Viper's abilities are very, like, small. They're very, like, grounded, simple slashes and strikes, right? Again, very similar to Monk. Like, most of Monk's abilities, save for chakra bursts, are very simple attacks. So that the idea... Because, like, even Reaper's abilities are a little bit more extravagant than just simple attacks. But even with, like, what we saw earlier with Viper, it's just sticking two swords together and swinging them around differently. It's not until they go into this burst rush mode where it's, like, super extra... That shit is everything to me. Also, this is clearly the limit break. Fuck me, the limit break stance looks cool as shit. Fuck me, this looks great.
I can wait for when Rin starts playing that class, because I'm gonna sit there and we're gonna be playing, because he loves making LB macros, right? That are based off of his glam and everything. And at one point, we're gonna sit there and I'm gonna be fighting, and then I hear a and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I read at the bottom, Omae Omu Shinderu. I'm like, damn it.
But that's more samurais.
Well, okay, if we're gonna actually say it's based on the reference, that would be Monk, because that's Fist in a North Star. But
I mean, that's fair, but I would actually make the argument that Monk's Limit Break feels more Gurren Lagann. Like, the big wind-up, or better yet, like, honestly,
oh my god.
I don't know if I still have this clip, but literally one time when I was playing Monk, I just felt the urge to scream United States of Smash while doing the Limit Break.
I actually saw someone with that, but they didn't say United States, they said Deku's, which was Texas Smash, and I was like,
Yeah.
kind of like that more.
It's
That fits
it's
a little
really
more.
nice. It's really fucking nice.
Pause. Don't let that be a warrior skill. I know that's weird to say, but there's one reason for that.
Okay.
It's who is activating that is the thing.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the new girl.
Yeah.
And if she has I want her to have her own abilities, like she already has shown in the last patch. And I would love it if she just had an ability that she just fucking blocks and hit for you with.
Well, the other reason why I don't think this is going to, like, this animation is going to be Warrior per se is because Warrior doesn't use magical shields like this. Like, this screams...
Oh, no, they do.
This screams Gunbreaker to me. Like, they don't use, like, these, like, glass, like, honeycomb looking... Like, this looks more intricate than what Warrior usually does, right?
No, because when you activate Battle Intuition, it does the diamond around you.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, you're probably wrong then. It's probably just a Warrior skill.
That's why I'm saying, because I love like each character in the game when you use them as party, like Thancred and stuff. I would love for them to have unique attacks.
I gotta see that limit
That's
break
sick.
animation again because this is now. Granted, you know what else would I would actually be kind of happy about, but I don't. It looks similar to Warrior's LB in PvP. Okay, so I just don't know what I'm talking about. Here's an interesting thing for me, right? The blue mode is dual blades. I'm pretty sure this is just the limit break, but I'm curious if the glaive mode does get its own mini breaker form, or if the limit break is that this is where it actually gets to do the same thing as the dual blades, and then it does the viper like snake teeth bite. I'll be fine with that. I would kind of wish that the glaive got its own super form, but that might be a little too much. All the same, this limit break is sex. This limit break is fucking awesome.
You know, I never noticed that.
Yeah, how like at the end it like splits it apart and then they like viper teeth dagger into it.
Yeah, I've never noticed that was like a... Oh, God, I'm so happy you pointed that out to me, because that makes it such a, like, even cooler LB, because the whole animation is you snake up, and you see the trails of, like, snake scales.
God, you
see the trails of snake scales as it go up.
I
and then
did
you
not
bite
notice
down.
that
Look,
shit. That's what these are. They're snake scales.
you
Oh
want to know
my
something
God.
even more insane? Okay, I need you to pause it right after he slams again. That's a snake head.
I kind of can't see it, so I want to try.
It's very, like, subtle.
I think I do kind of see it, but you're right. Wow, I feel dumb
is
for not
sick as
noticing that
hell.
before.
I only noticed it because you like had him paused in that pose, and I was like, "Oh, look at those snake skills!" And then you're like, "Oh yeah, the Viper bite down." I'm like, "Wait a minute." That's when the gears started turning. I'm like, "Oh, you just snake up that bastard, coiling around him like a Viper, and then biting down on him. Oh, that's sick."
Yeah. So like what I'm very much expecting Viper to be when it does its combo is that we start in dual blade, like comparing Viper to Reaper, because I do think that their design philosophy and their pacing is gonna be very similar. Like with Reaper, you start out with like your main slashes, and that's fine. But then Reaper has like that, oh, I'm now going to like summon or do the ghost thing, and then I'm gonna do this combo where you see the ghastly form of the Reaper Blade, right? So it's like standard, the activation, and then the meter builder. I feel like in comparison, Viper's is going to be dual blade, glaive is the activation, and then you do a couple of glaive attacks that become the meter builder. But the thing that I really like, and I want to show that off again from earlier in the trailer. The thing that I like is that like it's very subtle, it's very simple animations. It doesn't feel like you don't have this more like lingering glow like you do with Reaper. It's just sort of like there for a bit, and it's like, aha, very swift, very snaky. And I really like that idea that the glaive is like, all right, now you're going to be doing glaive mode for a bit. After you've done your glaive mode slashes, it goes back to dual blade. Again, I hope I'm wrong, because that seems too much like Reaper, even though Reaper would still have the ghost, and the ghost like does make a massive difference to your combo, so it wouldn't be a 1-to-1. But I personally would like a little more separation of design philosophy between the two. But yeah, we just spent we just spent an hour talking
Muscle.
about the benchmark.